All right, thanks a lot, Mike. Let's join now Dustin Fox inside the foxhole. Dustin, what's the latest that you're hearing out of Columbus and this whole Cargate situation?
Well, I'm hearing the latest is this is sort of an investigative report that came forth by some of the news people at the Columbus Dispatch, and that the compliance department at the university is looking into it and sort of investigating what took place, over the last couple of years with some families involved with the players and some transactions that took place.
Dustin, does this almost routine, I guess is the question, the compliance department, which I think is probably one of the biggest in the country, is constantly looking at one of the biggest schools in the country. Is it fair to say that, or is it more than that?
No, I think it's fair to say that we have one of the biggest compliance departments in the country, right, and rightfully so. We have, one of the biggest, sports programs in the country as far as, the amount of sports teams that we have for as far as Division I goes. And I think that the compliance department does a great job with what they do. I just think in this situation this is another routine thing that they're looking at, and in light of the fact of all the things that have gone on over the last, 8 months, this is being scrutinized a little bit more.
What do you think about Ohio State's reputation nationally right now?
It's not good right now, Andy. There's no doubt that there's a black eye in the program currently, and this isn't going to change anytime soon. There's going to be a lot more investigation to go on, and the meetings are going to continue on with Tressel and with the compliance department and with the AD and with the NCAA. So I think this is going to get possibly uglier before it gets better, so to speak. I hope it doesn't get too much uglier as far as the reputation goes in the national media, but that's just the way it looks currently.
Do you think Jim Tressel might retire over this? Do you think that maybe he might just say, enough is enough, this is what's best for the program, maybe I should retire?
That's a good question. I'm not sure, what his thought process is or where his head is at this point. I'm pretty sure that he's wants to stick it out for the guys, and Tress is definitely not a type of guy who's a quitter, so to speak. So I'm pretty sure that he wants to try and right the ship and get the program turned back around.
Dustin, you were there. I mean, how easy is it for temptation to look you in the eye and that you have to make that decision, right or wrong?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the temptations that exist at a major program, at all the programs in the country, as far as big time, powerhouse programs. The temptations exist, and they're there. It's just a matter of doing the right things and putting yourself in the right situations where you're not quite as tempted quite as easily, I should say.
I'm not getting too personal with you here, but I'm just kind of curious. How many times in your days at Ohio State did you have to say, that's wrong, I need to walk away?
Not too often, Andy. You'd be surprised. I tried to keep myself out of situations where temptations would present themselves. But I mean, there were occasions that you'd have to make a decision to do the right thing. But I would say it's probably far less than you would anticipate.
How much of that, too, falls, I mean, we talk about compliance, but how much of that falls on the seniors and talking about your other teammates on the team to make sure that the team is going in the right direction? Because we all know that a team can change its face within a year and really change its face within 2 years. How much do the upperclassmen play a role in making sure that everyone's moving in the right direction?
It's the huge role of the seniors and upperclassmen to sort of keep the guys in line, because the compliance department can only do so much, the coaching staff can only do so much, because they're not the ones that are going back to the dorms with these guys, going back to the apartments with these guys on a daily basis. It's the other players that they're hanging out with. It's the people that you surround yourself with that are the ones that you are looking to make right and wrong decisions. I would say that it's a huge responsibility of the senior leadership or the upperclassmen's leadership responsibilities to lead these younger guys.
So true. The last question for you. Coach gets too much credit for wins, not enough, or takes too much blame for the losses, and when a program's going in the wrong direction and the institutional control may be a question, maybe it might be a little bit too much, or maybe it might not be right.
Well, at this juncture in the game, there's a lot of finger pointing going on, and no one knows who's to blame. Ultimately, the blame is on the players themselves, because they're the ones that made the poor choices, and then Tressel sort of got dragged into it with everything that happened. But if you're looking at it from a grassroots standpoint, it's the players who ultimately determined their fate.